So the World Cup is finally over, so we can get back now to the proper stuff, the club footy, up the fucking Blues. We're going to do a keep, loan, sell for the City squad. Now, I am going based off what is on the City website for the squad. Some of them, I've already looked through it a bit. I've already left. I'm pretty sure they've already left, but they're still on there, so bear with me on that. But yeah, let's get straight into it. Starting off with the goalkeepers. We've got Bettinelli. I mean, me as an outsider don't really know what the bloke does, but he must be good for morale. He's kind of like the Jordan Henderson of this squad. And I think you need an English quota anyway, so yeah, I mean, he's not harming me, so as long as he's not harming the keepers. Actually, maybe he is harming the keepers because he could be the one that's telling Donnarumma to come out for crosses and miss the fucking ball. But we'll leave him be. We'll keep him at the club. There is quite a big debate though between Donnarumma and Trafford. I have been through this before. I'll be honest, not that I have anything against Trafford, but I think out of the two, the most likely to go is Trafford, so I'm going to put him for sell. Donnarumma definitely had his flaws last season, but he also definitely helped us in a lot of games. Obviously, his shot stopping was definitely his main bit. The games in the Cup meant that a lot of City fans were asking for Trafford to come in. I personally wouldn't mind it. He's definitely better on the ball. Shot stopping wise, he isn't great. I mean, we have got to realise at the end of the day that yes, he was great in the cup final against Arsenal. Yes, he was good in that quarter final against Liverpool, but he did also make a big mistake at the start of the season against Tottenham, which is the reason we bought Donnarumma in the first place. And he also had the game against Leverkusen where, fair enough, the whole team was shocking, but literally every shot they had pretty much seemed like it went in. Like, he's not the greatest shot stopper, so I think if he is the main goalkeeper, you are going to definitely see flaws in his game as well. So I don't think it's just like, oh, he comes in, that's it, perfecto. I don't think Donnarumma's done enough wrong to outweigh the good he's done, and to definitely not to outweigh the fact that he should be dropped to the bench. I do think definitely one of them has to go in the summer, which is why I'm saying Trafford. However, we signed Pierce Giles. I'll be honest, I was surprised when I found out he's going straight back on loan, given the fact that, like I said, it seems pretty certain that Donnarumma or Trafford is leaving, with Trafford having the stronger links to leaving. I don't know why we've let Charles go already when it looks like Trafford's going, because we cannot be going into this season with Marcus Bettinelli as our fucking backup goalkeeper, and I am not chancing it. You cannot sell Trafford. I don't care how much of a fuss he kicks up. If he's getting heavy offers from people, you can't be selling until we know. I want someone through the door. I don't want just someone who we've got personal terms. I want someone through the door before we get Trafford out of it, because I cannot be risking Bettinelli as a second goalkeeper. No offence to the bloke. But yeah, and I have touched on this before when I brought up this debate, but I do kind of think we've seen similar with Ederson and Ortega. Ederson had his flaws in his game, not denying that. Still did very well in part for us, obviously, with his distribution. A lot of people saw Ortega in the cup game, said, oh yeah, he should be coming in, get rid of Ederson, whatever. Ederson got injured, Ortega came in for a bit. Not saying he went to dog shit, but there wasn't a lot of people giving him high praise when he came in because he weren't really that great. So I think we have seen this before. I think we are getting a bit too ahead of ourselves. Yes, Trafford's better on his feet. Not saying he can't be better than Donnarumma overall and be better for us overall, but I think you're going to see a lot more of his flaws if he comes in. So I don't think it's like such a clear thing that just because he's better on his feet and he's not a horrendous shot stopper, that he's just going to come in and improve if he chooses to be the number one. But yeah, it is interesting also because Maresca's coming in. He has worked with young players before, so whether he would choose the younger player, I don't know. But yeah, for me personally, I'm selling Trafford, keeping Donnarumma, keeping Bettinelli. In regards to defenders, obviously we're keeping Gahey, we're keeping Gvardiol, we're keeping Kusanov. Diaz has had links to going away. I would be trying to keep him any length, really. Rain ain't Nori, to be fair, he got very unlucky last season, had a big injury. We didn't really get to see much of him. He showed promising signs from what we did see of him, especially in the Club World Cup, which is probably the most run of games we got to see him starting inconsistently. But then he fell out, then O'Reilly came in, and O'Reilly's just really took his place, and I'm not going to say nor he should be starting over O'Reilly. So, yeah, I'd keep him, but as a backup. We've got Max Lane in there as well. I would personally loan him. However, there has been I seen something the other day that they've been doing this like club shop where all these different clubs, scouts or whatever, come in and look at players, and they put certain players on. Obviously, they didn't just put the whole fucking squad because we're not selling Haaland or anything. But Max Lane was one of those players. I was a bit surprised by that, because from what I've seen, there was that one of the Heskey brothers left, and he was part of that. So I think they're all intending to be sold on a permanent. I personally will keep Max Lane. I think he just got a bit unlucky with the timing last season. We had to call him back straight from Watford to come in and start in a team that was trying to compete for the league. Bearing in mind, by the way, yes, Kusanov, as we know now, has had a very good season and probably should maybe start next season as well, based on how we ended last season. But at the time he initially came in, obviously Diaz and Gvardiol were the main ones. Kusanov was still a bit iffy. The main memory of him was still that Chelsea game at that point. Obviously, for rival fans, they seem to still milk that, but for City fans, we all know that that's not the player that Kusanov is, but that's who he was at the time. So it's not even like Max Lane was going in there next to someone that was like really, really experienced. He was going in there next to someone that was kind of at a similar point to him. So he kind of got thrown into the deep end. I would keep him on loan. I did see he turned 21 the other day, so maybe not as much time as other people would get, but send him on loan. He could be something for us in the future. And he wasn't horrendous in all the games. He was bad against United, but most of them were, to be honest. The game against Newcastle at St James's Park, that can be a tough place. I thought he played quite well there. And in the game against Brighton as well at home, I thought he was all right. So he could be someone for the future. I would personally loan him, but it looks like they might be trying to sell him on a permanent. Josh Wilson, his brand is also on there. I think I've seen him play in a game in like 21, 22 when I went to the Etihad to watch us play in the Cup against Wickham. I think it was Wickham, yeah, because Akin Fenway was playing. I'm pretty sure he played in that game. You might not, to be honest. I can't remember. But I'm pretty sure he did, and I wasn't really impressed by him in that game. And I'm also pretty sure that he is a player that has been on loan at Stoke, and a lot of Stoke fans were getting on his back. So if that is true, or I'm just remembering it wrong maybe, but if it is true, if you can't cut it for Stoke, get him out the place. Vitor Rice is also on there. I would actually potentially keep him just because he's the fifth choice centre back. He's someone that can gain experience for the squad. I think he's already gone out and had his experience in the first team, so he just needs to be around experienced players and get a chance here and again. I think he could get into some cup games this season. I think we could give him more of a chance, and Maresca wants to work with a bigger squad, so I think this would be the perfect chance to bring him in. But the biggest one for me in the defence in terms of talking points is Rico Lewis. I think he has to go, blood. He has to go, blood. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sorry for the lad. Manchester born, it's his club, we love him, we do, I do feel sorry for him more than I probably would if it was some bloke who we bought from fucking, Sparta Prague, and yeah, I probably won't give a shit, to be honest. But obviously he came through in 22-23 when he made his breakthrough. Looked like he was just going to seamlessly take over from Walker. That hasn't really turned out. He's had okay seasons since. He's had okay moments, like in the semi-final against Forest last season. He scored that goal very early on. Well, not last season, but season before now in 24-25. So he has had his moments here and there since, but ever since the breakthrough, really, he hasn't really carried on. We were offered 30 mil by Forest last season. Personally think he should have went, because honestly, someone we're going to come on to later, Savinho, I've saw too many games of Rico Lewis and Savinho this season. My eyes are hurting. We need to get rid of the pair of them. Rico Lewis is the one we're talking about now. So yeah, he's in sell. Moving on to the midfielders then. Nunez is in here. I did mention him before in the defenders. Obviously I'll keep him. Cherky will keep him. Doku will keep him, obviously. I'd keep Foden as well. Nico O'Reilly is also in here. I mean they are technically naturally in these positions, so fair enough. But I'll keep Nico O'Reilly. Semenyo I would obviously keep. Calvin Phillips, needs to get rid of him. I mean, I seen the other day that they're trying to get him on loan. Honestly, he's going to be robbing money out of our pockets on the wages, because I don't see how anyone's buying him, because even when he's went out on loan, he's been shit for the clubs that he's went to. Rodri, obviously coming off the back of a great World Cup tournament where he's the best player for the team that won the World Cup. So yeah, I think do anything you fucking can to get him in. We know he's gonna have surgery, so yeah, I do not want to get to a point where we're essentially paying for his surgery and then he comes back, doesn't do a contract, and leaves at the end of the season on a free to Madrid as well. Yeah, I do not want that to happen, but got to keep him at all costs. Savinho is obviously in there as well. He is someone that's heavily linked to Tottenham. It is worrying me a bit how long it is going on. I mean, they're signing fucking everyone. They're signing so many attackers. It's actually getting me kind of scared that maybe they're going to look another way when it comes to Savinho. So can you just get it over the fucking line, please? Because I need this bloke out my fucking club. £65 million as well. Don't know how we're getting that out of them, especially after the season he's just had. I'll be honest, as much as I am being harsh on him, he has been shit this season and he hasn't really proven himself. And end of the day, when you're looking to compete what we're looking to compete for, just showing signs over 2 seasons, it's not great. I think fans accepted it in the first season. Obviously, we weren't great as a whole in that season, in the 24-25 season anyway. So, a bright spark was that was one of our better things to cling on to that season. But first season, you can let him off. I think he got like 10 or 11 assists, so that weren't that bad. But he got 3 goals, and I'm pretty sure only one of them was in the Prem. So then, when you get someone like Tottenham offering you 70 mil, you kind of forget about the signs. You don't delve into, okay, maybe in second season, maybe he'll kick on now, whatever. You forget about that. You just go off what he's done. And what he's done at that point was have 3 goals across all competitions. And even with the 11 assists, there's still only a 14 GA pro. And he played quite a lot that season as well. So, yeah, it's not like he didn't get the chance and he only got a 14 GA. So, yeah, getting offered 70 mil from Tottenham, he had to go. I mentioned Rico Lewis before. He was offered us, Forest offered us 30 mil for him. Combined for the two of them, that's 100 mil right there. Heavily linked last summer to Rodrigo. Obviously, pretty much every City fan, including myself, wanted him in because he would have came in and made an impact straight away to the team. The valuation circulating around him was 100 mil, so getting rid of Savinho and Lewis to get in Rodrigo, essentially, that was blatant, clear as day, simple, just get it done. What do we decide to do? Not only decide to keep Savinho, but we decide to keep Lewis as well. Who the fuck came up with that idea, first of all? But yeah, I do think that put a bit of some unwanted attention on him. I think a lot of people went from, like I said before, being willing to, okay, first season, showed signs, now it's kick on, and then at the end of this season, we'll make a judgment, to, oh, well, we've just rejected signing a world-class talent, basically, to keep you at the club because of the potential that you might produce. So there was a lot of unwanted pressure. Completely didn't perform. If anything, he completely went the other way, probably because of that pressure, but you've got to cope with it at this level, and he hasn't. So get him gone. The fact that Tottenham, I know it's 5 mil less, but the fact that they're still offering this much for him, I think is crazy. When we got 70 mil offered for him last summer and we rejected it, I thought one or two things happens. Either goes on and proves that potential to be right, the fact that we kept him to be right, and then we'd keep him anyway, wouldn't sell him, would we? Or he's really, really shit and his value goes well down. So the fact that Tottenham are offering us 65 mil, snap the fucking hands off. Honestly, pay for the train yourselves. Get him down there. Just get him away from the club. He's not good enough. Just get him gone. I look at some of the others in the list. We've got some youngsters in the likes of Claudio Echeverri and Sevilla Naipan now. Naipan has gone out on loan. I'll be honest, I personally don't know a lot about him. I've heard a lot about him from City fans saying, oh, he could be one for the future. He should be someone that we're trying to integrate a lot more into the squad next season. He's gone out on loan, so I'm not going to get the chance to see what people are talking about, but whether he's got that potential or not, I don't know. I did see the team he went on loan to, like some team in some like Norwegian or like Scandinavian sounding team, to be honest with you. So I don't really, I know he's from Norway himself, but I don't understand if we are actually trying to develop him, why we're sending him over there. Do you know what I mean? I don't really get how that experience is going to translate back into the Premier League if we eventually try and integrate him, or even if we're trying to sell him on him smashing it up in the Norwegian League isn't going to do that. We have seen a bit of Claudio Echeverri in the FA Cup final against Palace, which we lost. Again, the team was shit in that game like they were all season. But he was the one little bright spark. We only seen him for 20 minutes, and then ever since he's been on loan. So I don't really know from him. Again, Maresca works with younger players. Where a couple of names I'm going to mention in a minute, potentially leaving. Maybe you keep him in just in case. Maybe you have him there, play him in the cup games. Maybe you can show something. And then maybe in the season after this one, maybe you can properly try and start integrating him. He does seem like he's got decent potential. I did like what I saw in that little cameo against Palace in that final. So, I think he could be good. I don't really know how well he's done on loan. I'm not one of those people that keeps up with loan spells that much, unless someone's like mad hyping him. Then, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so leave your thoughts if you are one of those people that checks them out on loan in the comments. A couple of the other people who have a bit of a on their future, Jack Grealish to start off with. I think it seemed pretty much like his time was done at City. Obviously went to Everton last season, started off well, but then I think he got injured and then it didn't really come back from that. I don't think, I have to have the opinion of Everton fans on that. I don't watch them week in, week out, but I think his time's come and gone. If Maresca sees something in him, maybe he can get something out of him. Obviously, it's a completely different thing with Maresca coming in. He could get stuff out of players that Pep didn't, you know what I mean? Because Pep was very, very precise on the type of things that he wanted. I think Maresca might be a slight bit more lenient, or he might lean a bit more into the actual man management. So Jack Grealish for me is one of those players that really goes off of confidence. And I know all of them do, but some players might not be full on confidence and still play pretty well. I think Jack Grealish, it's either he plays really well because he's got high confidence or he's got low confidence and he's dog shit, basically. So, yeah, I personally would sell him. I think his time's come and gone, but, we'll see. I would also keep Tijani Reinders. I know there's been a few questions because where's he going to fit in? You've got Foden there, you've got Cherky there. Obviously, Semenyo came in, so that kind of takes a position away where Cherky would usually start, so that pulls Cherky back in to a position where Tijani Reinders you would usually start, and Cherky's obviously been better from what we've seen of them so far. Reinders had showed signs. I said it with Savinho before. I am willing to let him go for another season. I do think come the end of next season, I'll pretty much be very much on the way of getting him out because I'll be honest, I don't really see him getting a lot of chances this season just with the amount of people we've got that play in his preferred position in the squad. But he's there. We can have him. At least keep him there. See what he's like under Maresca. Maybe Maresca again gets something out of him. We don't know. But yeah, I'd keep him for this season. Then Nico Gonzalez and Mateo Kovacic. Another big talking point. I think kind of like with Trafford and Donnarumma, probably one of the two is almost definitely leaving. Now, I personally think Mateo Kovacic is underrated. I know he got a lot of hate, probably because when Rodri went out, Pep tried playing him as the lone six. I don't see him as a lone six whatsoever. I think he's the most out-and-out number 8. Not to say the best, but in terms of a role, he probably is the most dead-on number 8 of all time. That's just his position. I actually do think he offers us something different, and Cherky is progressive, yes, but he does it in a very slow. He does a lot of skills in the lead up to it, whereas the runs from Haaland in behind, yes, every now and again they get seen, but when De Bruyne was there, anytime he sees Haaland, yeah, go. I don't think there's many players that do that. We have a lot of dribblers in the squad, still playmakers, still very good players like Foden, obviously. He was like that. Not saying that they're bad, but we have a lot like that kind of play style, whereas Kovacic understands that he isn't that and just kind of plays the ball straight away. We've seen it against Everton for the second goal. He just played the ball straight in behind and Haaland scores. That's what he's good at. He does that. A lot of City fans get onto him. I can understand this defensive side of the game ain't great. I get that. I personally would like him in the squad, but I think if we're comparing him and Nico Gonzalez, then I think in terms of the squad, in terms of the players we have got playmakers. So as much as Kovacic is a different type of playmaker, and I think he offers something different, I don't think it's worth getting rid of Nico. So yeah, we might cut out there, so sorry about that. But basically what I was saying was, the reason why I would keep Nico Gonzalez instead of Kovacic is that although I think Kovacic offers something different, we have, if we sell him, still got a lot of playmakers there. Whereas if we sell Nico Gonzalez, other than Rodri, we don't really have an out-and-out six. Now I know we just signed Anderson, but I personally see him as more of an out-and-out replacement, like I said when I did that video just after he joined. For Bernardo Silva. Therefore, obviously, hope not. But if Rodri was to be out for a certain amount of time, if we sold Nico Gonzalez, we don't really have someone I would consider as a proper out-and-out six to be in that role. And that role really is key. Okay, yeah, I know we've got Maresca now, so I don't know if there's going to be a difference there. But especially under Pep, that was probably the most important role in the squad. So yeah, and I also think you got to take into account the fact that even though I rate Kovacic still think he's a good player, he is 33 years of age. He has had more time to try and get himself into the starting 11. He hasn't done that. Then Nico Gonzalez. Nico Gonzalez is really always. I know most people are in the shadow of Rodri, but he's always, when he's played, had that thing of, oh, when Rodri comes back, he's straight in. So that kind of said to him that regardless of how good I play, I'm always going to be second choice, at least for now. So I think he still has time to prove himself. We don't know what's happening with Rodri. We do know that Rodri, if he does stay at the start of the season, is going to go into surgery. So I don't know if that's going to affect the fact that he can't play for a bit at the start of the season. Therefore, we need someone like Nico Gonzalez to fill in. Then we move on to the last two people, the forwards. Omar Marmoush and the main man, Erling Haaland. Obviously, we'll start off with Haaland because this one's pretty simple. We're selling him. He's shit. Get gone. Fuck him off. That's a joke, obviously. He is the main man, our top goal scorer, who we fucking need. And I'm going to get into Marmoush in a bit, but anyone sitting there saying that we play better with the likes of Marmoush because we're more free-flowing, just fucking shut the fuck up. You actually need to watch a game. There's a reason we play towards this bloke when we're attacking. It's because he scores shitloads of goals. He can do nothing for a game for 90 minutes. He could barely get a touch of the ball for 90 minutes and score a goal. That wins us a game, potentially takes us to a trophy. So just shush on that one. Then we move over to Marmoush. This may be a hot take for me personally. I would sell him. I don't think he's good enough even as a backup striker to Haaland. You have got to take into account that what we need from the second striker is not too... It's not someone that we need to play with Haaland week in, week out. It's someone that we need so we can give Haaland a rest. So that, obviously, again, hope not, because we probably would be fucked regardless, but if Haaland was to get injured, we can call on this bloke, whoever it is, and, still be pretty comfortable in most games. I don't feel like that with Marmoush. Yes, if we're playing fucking Swansea in the Carabao Cup, then yeah, comfortable. But if Haaland was out and Marmoush is starting up front, already I'm massively worried. Now, yes, like we've seen in the past, people who are the second striker that come in for the main striker are typically different in terms of they're probably not as clinical, that's why they're not starting, and they're a bit more free-flowing, they get more involved in like the general link-up play. But people try and compare Marmoush to Alvarez. Alvarez was 10 times the player. Alvarez was not as clinical as Haaland, obviously, but he was still clinical. He's still, Haaland's like, you give him one chance, he scores. Alvarez might be 2 or 3, but he still scores. Marmoush, you could give the bloke 6 chances, and I can't say for certain that he is going to score. I remember that game against Southampton in the semis of the FA Cup. Mate, the amount of times he gets the chance to shoot, and he does this thing where this just pisses me. How can you be a striker, right, and you've got space, you've got time to shoot in the box, and you turn back in towards defenders? That makes no sense to me. I don't really understand how that's a striker. Fair enough if you're a midfielder defender, you're not as confident in front of goal, but you're supposed to be a number 9, mate, so do your fucking job. I do feel as though his best comes when he plays next to Ireland as like a second number nine. We've seen that against Newcastle, in which, he's basically to Newcastle what Spurs are to us. Spurs shit for the whole season, play us twice, the fucking prime Barca. Same with Marmoush, plays anyone else, he's kind of shit. Plays Newcastle, turns into fucking prime fucking R9. But I think even though he plays well as a second striker, we don't really need that. He prospered with that. I think I didn't watch a lot of them, but at Frankfurt, which is basically what we bought him because of, he was scoring load over there, basically playing like a second striker with Ekatike. But we don't need that. We've got playmakers to play in that position, so we don't need someone to be taken away from allowing a Cherky into the team, or even allowing one of the wingers into the team, like Semenyo or Doku. So we just need someone who, okay, you're never going to be as confident as when Haaland's starting, but if I'm watching him, and even if it's like a mid to lower team in the league, if he's the main number 9, I'm still quite confident that we can still pretty comfortably win. I'm not when it's Marmoush. I just don't think he's anywhere near as clinical. So I personally will get rid of him. Do we get a replacement in? I'm not 100% sure. I think you've got someone like Semenyo there who can play there. Maybe that allows Cherky to move over. I said with Reinders before, maybe that then allows a place for Reinders to get into the start team and have a consistent run of games. I think Semenyo could do a job there. Don't get me wrong, Semenyo is used to playing off the wings, but at the same time, we saw, especially towards the back end of the season, when he initially came in, he played off the left, he was a bit more involved, but when Semenyo moved over to the right, like we saw in the game against Chelsea, kind of had a shit game in that one, but pops up with the winning goal. I think he's got that kind of gene, kind of like Haaland, so he can play there as a second number 9, but if we need to go and get someone, I don't mind it, but we don't need someone to come in and play alongside Haaland. We need someone that's capable of being a backup, which, as we've seen, is quite hard, because even when we do get one like Alvarez, we end up selling him because he's never going to get in the starting 11. But yeah, that's my opinion. Is the full tier list here. Yeah, what do you think? Who would you keep? Who would you sell?